one. All right. Hello, everyone, to another episode of The Search for the Goat. Today we watched, what was it? North by Northwest.
Yep.
I said
This is
it right.
indeed what we watched.
Thank you, sir. It was by Sir Alfred Hitchcock.
Sir
It is,
Alfred.
sir. It is, sir.
Is he a
sir?
Is he a knighted boy?
Yep.
He's a knighty boy.
Oh,
Yep.
Fancy lad.
Yeah. Probably is very witty.
All right. What would you say this movie's about?
So it's about
yeah.
a
What is it about?
everyman getting stuck in a situation. Maybe not an everyman, but
I mean,
He
was
is an
stuck
everyman. I think
he
it's
was
important.
Stuck in a
He's an everyman.
government kind of conspiracy, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a government conspiracy, but in a way, yeah. Okay, yeah, government conspiracy. And he's stuck in, I mean, it's just like every man gets stuck in a situation where he's put into very dangerous and crazy circumstances, you know what I mean? So, and it's very it's very much a thriller. It's very much a what you call it, like a movie about, you know, things getting out of hand, things
escalating.
escalating, starting small,
Right.
like you just thinking nothing's gonna happen, and it gets out of control, and then you slowly figure out what's going on, and then you're like, wow, that's what's happening. North by Northwest, summarized without saying any details by me.
Perfect.
Okay, so opinions, I guess. Sheik, you go first.
We're also out of it this episode. All right. Opinion wise, I thought it was like very just all right. I didn't hate it. It was pretty like fun. Like it was a fun ride to go on. In terms of trying to figure out how this dude's gonna get out of this situation he's in.
Yeah.
How did he get out in the end? The
And
CIA,
how did he
like,
get out?
it was like, oh yeah, you're cool now. We want you to live. They just decided on the fly.
No, they knew all along that he was not the bad guy, right? They just didn't want to um spoil. They pretty much used him as a sacrifice because they knew that if they tried to extract him being an innocent citizen, like they might foil the plans of, you know, the Cold War of, you know, that they were fighting. So they were just like, whatever. They're like, he's like pretty much a what do you call it? What's something when you accidentally kill somebody?
Right.
Manslaughter.
No, like you know when you bomb like a village to kill a guy.
Oh,
But then
collateral damage.
Yeah, he's pretty much collateral damage to them. So, but then when he like fought his way out of it, they're like, yeah, okay, we can extract this guy. Sorry for all the shit you've been through, but hey, you know what I mean? But yeah, to me it was a good movie. It was a nice film. I can see that this being like the prototype of like all fucking action, action films for the future. You know what I mean? James Bond films with a very like strong male thriller esque.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. It was a lot of I'd like to call it just Hitchcock jerking off.
Well, okay, jerking. Okay.
He's well.
No, because it's
that,
okay.
Paul.
That's intentional. Here's the origin. Yeah. Okay. So basically, the origin of this movie is so I'm just I'm gonna actually share my screen for the audience. If you're watching this, you're
Oh
about to get that
shit! First
screen
time.
share.
First
This
time.
is turned
Oh, it's
into a
disabled.
lecture
Historical.
course now.
A little bit of a lecture, but
Better
can you turn
fucking
on
pay
screen
attention.
share?
I'm gonna
Better pay
do that
attention.
for
No,
you.
because it's very interesting. Because
How do
that's
I
just such
do
a
this?
Sheik, you're a very good high person.
Thanks, man. No, I'm gonna turn into a teacher right now by not knowing how to screen share.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were on it.
How do
on
I
it.
do that?
something
Don't
like
tell me what to
settings.
say. Don't tell me what to do.
I think we're gonna have to cut all this out. I can't minimize when I'm recording. I'm sorry. You Paul, you have
Well,
to just describe
the
this.
point is, yeah, okay. Hitch discussed this. Okay, so John Russell Taylor's biography of Hitchcock. This is very annoying. So it basically came from writer's block from writing another thing. A writer named Ernest, very 50s name, and Hitchcock are working on a movie, not coming together. And he said, "Why don't I quit and call it a day because it's not coming?" And Hitchcock says, "Well, the stories go, we get along great, and why don't we just write something else?" And Ernest says, "Well, I want to make the ultimate Hitchcock movie." So the ultimate hit, that's the ambition. I want to make the ultimate Hitchcock movie.
That he's horny.
Hitchcock's,
You get it.
huh? Would say it
What?
again?
I thought
No,
this was about why he's writing horny scenes.
oh,
He's not writing what horny scenes in the movie.
okay.
Yeah.
He's talking specifically about the
It was like
female
3 times.
interactions.
Well, we're gonna get there, but basically Hitchcock goes, "Okay, ultimate Hitchcock movie," and he goes, "Well, I've always wanted to do a chase around Mount Rushmore," and then they kind of spitball a bunch of ideas: murder at the United Nations, murder at a car plant in Detroit, final showdown in Alaska, settle on UN murder for the opening, and Cheers Across Mount Rushmore as the climax. And for the central idea, Hitchcock remembered something an American journalist told him about spies creating a fake agent as a decoy. Perhaps their hero could be mistaken for this fictitious agent and end up on the run. They bought the idea from the journalist for $10,000. So yes, that's kind of why there's a bit of a, shall we say, masturbatory feel to the movie, which is yes, it's trying to be Hitchcock. It's trying to be Hitchcock. Okay. It's actively, that's an active attempt, which is very
that's
different.
Pretty
than,
cool.
Yeah, because that's different than just letting yourself naturally just be Hitchcock.
And a lot of the scenes in the movie were very good. You know what I mean? By good, I mean like, especially like that airplane scene, I would say would be like, where he's being chased down. It's very creative. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, who would even think about filming that scene in his time? You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a fighter jet literally chasing a man down in a desert, somewhere, and he has to get out of that, and that's, I'm pretty sure, for its time, it was very like thrilling. Like, whoa.
And it is of a larger scale than most of his other suspense movies.
It seemed like it was made in a very large scale.
That would make sense for like a war movie.
Yeah.
Right. So he kind of, this is actually, it is pretty close to like your Indiana Jones kind of, which is funny because Indiana Jones is also written very similar to this, where it's just like, it was George Lucas, Lawrence Kasdan, and Steven Spielberg in a room for 5 days, 8-hour sessions, just going, how much crazy shit can we pack into one movie? Like that was the process.
This did feel very much like a lot of crazy shit being packed into one movie,
which you can argue is a weakness
too, right?
Kind of, but I mean, and Chris Nolan is a noted fan of Hitchcock in a very big way. So
really
something with planes.
With
that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there are things I didn't like about the movie.
I could see that being one thing to not like, because like it's too crazy. It's like
I am a big fan of conciseness in movies, and just
this is not that.
This is not concise. It started off very small and became very big, you know. And I mean, I like the ambition behind the movie, which is, you know, and I love like that it fucking started something so much bigger than itself, you know what I mean? Accidentally almost, you know. So hey, there is pros and cons, I guess. I mean, this is not perfect. I don't think it's a perfect movie. There's definitely plot holes. There's definitely um unrealistic things about the movie, very unrealistic things about the movie. But I think that for a movie like, you know, North by Northwest, you kind of have to give it a bit of more creative license to be wild and you know, have a crazy imagination, you know.
How would you rate like their action scenes to like other action
Action
scenes?
movies
Yeah, yeah.
of the
Compare,
past.
yeah, compare those to like this one.
Okay, I mean, we've watched like what, Lawrence of Arabia as the action movie. What
Right,
else have
right.
we watched?
Kinda. Well,
But
Searchers.
barely. Searchers
Searchers a
was
little more so.
more. Yeah,
A
Searchers
little
was
more
a little
so.
more. So, I mean,
Which
this was. I wouldn't even say there was a lot of action scenes in
I
it.
wouldn't say so. I would say,
Right.
yeah,
I
there's
would
not
say
much
this is
either.
more of like a,
Suspense.
yeah,
Suspense.
suspense,
Thriller.
thriller. That is
Mystery.
Hitchcock's
But they had like a
bread
Yeah.
and
lot of
butter.
those kind of like action movie ideas, like
Mhm.
No, it's
kind of
very action
climbing
Yeah,
movie.
a
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they did the
building.
cliffhanger
Right.
fucking cliche, which
Yeah.
I don't know if they started I probably didn't. Probably came from like cartoons or some shit, right?
It is a
But
very cartoony movie.
they did it very well.
Yeah.
Even for, you know, we from 1959 or
Right.
whatever.
It being on Mount Rushmore also feels like something like Tom Cruise would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It does
Yeah,
feel
for
like that.
sure.
There was a lot of
Um,
yeah, of course, that's another thing. It was very location based too. You
Right.
know what I mean? It was like
yes, like
New
a
York, Chicago, like landmarks. Americans love landmarks.
Bond is written like that. Bond, Mission
Bond is like
Impossible.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And that
Um,
is one of the things that made it so much like a Bond movie, so much like a, you know, a lot of the action movies from our time. You know, it's the
But
locationness of it, like the
do you
vibes.
feel like the locations mattered here? Like I feel like they could have replaced New York, Chicago with any other town.
I
Like
think it mattered in a way where it's like, um, this guy is going from one big city to another big city to another big city. You know, we went to like what, five different big cities across
yeah, but
America.
like all you see it
Probably not
is
five, but like,
you
you
just
know,
see it in the background. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
doesn't mean anything
But
that
and
you
location being also like the, you know, the train could be a setting. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
true.
the settings oftentimes
And the
made this
hotel
movie
rooms and shit.
so, yeah, made this movie so much of a strange, not strange, but you know, so much of what it was, you know, like, oh, we're on Mount Rushmore. Oh, we're in a busy street in New York City. We're in a busy high-end hotel lobby in New York. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like you can very much so imagine those places if you're just watching the movie, I would say. And I think that gave a lot of the movie its feel, for sure. Yeah, so overall, yeah, that's what I would say. And I noticed that a lot with modern movies too. They do they their settings, they um play a lot with their settings, you know. They try to create a picture, an image with their setting. So yeah.
No, I
So,
agree. I agree.
so yeah, I mean, North by Northwest. I mean, it wasn't, again, it wasn't my favorite movie we watched,
Right.
but
I'm trying hard to like think of shit to say about this. Like I get that it's influential.
yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
like I didn't like I'm trying to remember scenes that stuck out, and that was just like when they threw the knife, the
See, that
airplane
was
scene,
yeah. Go ahead.
and
Sorry.
then when they were like hanging off the cliff.
Yeah.
Trying to like,
Yep.
what else was the rest of the movie? It was just like a blur in between those scenes
Yeah.
for me.
There were some cool. I really I'm a bigger fan of the beginning of the movie than when it started to get convoluted.
Right,
It started
right.
definitely got a little convoluted.
Yeah,
Like
it
Paul
got
said,
convoluted after they
yeah,
fucking stabbed him with
yeah.
the knife.
Again,
It just got
me and
wild
Sheik
there.
honestly just started laughing when he threw the knife and then the guy just falls into his arms and he just pulls the knife out of his back. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, who in the right mind
In just
falls
like a
into those
crowded,
the
like
worst circumstances?
crowded, and you're in the UN too.
Yeah, you're in a
It's not
UN
just
crowded.
like some regular, like
Yeah.
just the train station where like people
So
won't pay attention.
yeah. So those are like the little fucking unrealistic things
Yeah.
that I just have to force myself to forgive Alfred Hitchcock for
Yeah.
his time. You know what I mean?
But this was also like before we knew how schemy the CIA was and how like serious they take security and shit.
True, true.
So
I mean,
maybe like,
American security.
yeah, maybe this was like a wild, like, yo, the CIA are doing this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
Some conspiratorial
right.
Hitchcock. He's trying to make the Americans aware of
I
their
mean,
own
this
government.
felt like a very conspiratorial movie, at least for the first half, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely did.
You were just confused, and it just
Mhm.
seemed like everyone was in on it. Kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Rosemary's Baby, like the creepy parts
yeah.
of that.
True, true, true. There was parts of it, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a little
Yeah,
bit
those are
more.
the parts I liked. Like how,
Yeah, I enjoyed the parts where I was like, is he actually a spy? Is he actually a bad
right.
guy? You know what I mean? Is he actually a good guy? Is he actually just confused? And then his mother came in for like
Yeah, his
a
mother was
couple of
roasting him
scenes.
for just like 30 minutes straight.
His mother came in just to roast him on the
I
fucking
forgot that was
elevator.
like, yeah, I literally forgot there was a whole like he was drunk in the police
Yeah.
station. That was a whole bit too.
Yeah, another thing, this movie was definitely trying to be comedic at a lot of points. You know what I mean? They were trying to do comedy like all throughout the movie. I say trying because a lot of times they fell flat. Some of the times it was fine. You know what I mean? It was cool. I
What
do
were the
like the way
comedy
olden
parts? I'm
people
trying to
talk.
think.
You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
sassy talk. Is that
Yeah,
what the comedy was?
maybe that's just what it was. You know, I'm
Oh, and
sorry if
then
there's anybody watching that's like, how dare you talk about, this is not something we're
they
used
wouldn't
to.
respond like that. They would write like a little quip like the dude said too many quips. That was another thing.
Too many quips.
He's not
Too many
Spider-Man. He
quips.
shouldn't be like this
Mm,
calm and like
yeah.
collected all the
Yeah,
time.
you're getting kidnapped. Like, so are you guys gonna tell me where you're taking me? Or am that gonna be a mystery too?
Oh,
But
you're gonna make
but
me late to my theater show. Like, yeah, come on,
yeah,
man.
there's a lot of but moments while being in a very serious situation, you know.
But
Um,
it's like we let Marvel movies do that all the time too.
yeah, true, but I guess they're superheroes. You're like, they can handle their own business, you know. So you let that happen. That's what they're supposed to do. Imagine a superhero being like, oh, goddamn, fuck, I'm getting fucking kidnapped right now.
I want them to.
I guess it would be cool to see a change of pace for Spider-Man, like getting tortured or some shit.
He
He's
just
like,
he just
ah.
he just gives up everyone's identity.
He's just like, okay, fuck, I'm Peter Parker for Queens, all right.
You think that would be worse than if they just killed him for no reason? If
um,
they just made him a coward, just
who
Spider-Man.
honestly, that might be the best Spider-Man of all time.
I think so. I'm glad this
That'd
is what
be
we came out of our North by Northwest podcast.
yeah. I mean, the thing about like The Dark Knight, for example, that I like that I think most people like is that despite being a superhero movie, it made it feel so much like real life, you know. That's hard to do in a super, at least
Well, it's Batman too. He doesn't really have too much
superhero.
silliness
Yeah,
attached to him.
true. It's true. Yeah, if it was
This one,
Superman,
yeah,
like,
I kind of agree with this
how
one.
is Batman and Superman friends? You know,
They're not most of the time. Most of the time they're fighting.
they don't have anything in common.
You know, it's like good cop, bad
It's
cop.
like
You know what I
it's
mean?
like Batman's just punching people and Superman is laser beaming them with his eyeballs. Like,
Superman's fighting gods while Batman
yeah.
is like questioning like henchmen
Yeah.
and shit.
Superman is just too overpowered, and Batman is just too underpowered for them to have a fucking
Yeah, we gotta stay
friendship.
on track. Can we talk about the movie?
Yeah. Oh, what I think in the comic book movies they made it so like Batman owned a lot of kryptonite or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that was his
That was in
only.
the actual movie too, actually.
Really? Okay,
Like,
okay.
I'm gonna punch you with kryptonite. That's how
All right, they tried to make him a little bit more powerful, like with his like heavy duty suit or some shit.
No, Batman won. Both in the comics and in the movie, right? He
Oh,
was
really?
Superman.
Hey, I'm glad Batman won. Batman is a better. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna get the comic book nerds on my ass. No, I was playing. Most comic book people probably would agree Batman's cooler than Superman.
He has
I
way
think.
more.
Yeah, that's his whole appeal. It's the coolest superhero ever.
Batman. If you really read his shit, he's not that cool.
He's
The
not
the
that
way the movies made him, like his parents died. He's a rich kid that fucking talks to bats. And then out of I mean, but the fucking Christopher Nolan movies really did him good. And this, I think the Batman thing is again the villains. This is North by Northwest.
That's what
I was
gonna
about to
say.
say the villains are
We got
what though?
really deep into the Batman stuff.
We're really tired. But yeah, nah, fucking the Penguin, dude. Who the fuck comes up with Penguin, an evil Penguin man? Like,
And that's the thing. Like Penguin is still like one of the top villains for Batman. Batman has so many villains. He has like A class villains and fucking D class villains.
yeah. Loki though, the Riddler and the Joker.
Riddler is like
Hmm.
B class, I'd say. Like,
Yeah, Riddler's in.
second tier, you know.
He just sells
He's
riddles and
still pretty
shit.
good. He's still pretty good. You could get like a decent movie out of the Riddler.
Uh, okay, maybe. But anyways, North by Northwest. Also, what else scenes were intriguing? The train scene was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah,
With
it
the
was fun.
woman, it was cool the way they met.
Yeah, that was like it was cool when they were just meeting,
Yeah.
but then they were already like smashing within.
Yeah, I mean, but she it wasn't that her duty as like a honeypot or whatever, but not really, right?
But then she
That
got
was
in trouble,
revealed later
right?
on that it was like that
Yeah,
was like legit love or whatnot.
I still don't get that relationship, but it's
I
fun.
mean, they got married at the end, remember?
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's like
Oh,
that
can we
was a
talk
quick
about the
too.
ending? What the
Oh,
hell?
oh my god, dude. Yeah, the ending.
It was
It
so
was
abrupt.
basically it was saying that this whole thing was a reenactment, like before they were about to smash. Is that what it was trying to
No,
get
no,
at?
no, that's not what they said at all. It was just like a sudden like
Transition to
transit. Like I was thinking that they would like finally pull her up and then like they would have a romantic moment and then he would talk to like the police and the police would be like, you did real good. Fucking whatever Townsend was his name.
listen, this is Hitchcock. He doesn't have time for
Yeah. And then he was like, oh shit, the budget's run out. How do we fucking do this last? How do we finish the
It was
movie?
at
Pulls her up
99%,
into the train.
and then they were like, shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool, but at the same time, I felt like
It was like if you're gonna do that for like,
abrupt.
just to cut out those
Mm.
final scenes,
Yeah,
may as well cut out all the
Mm.
other bullshit scenes that were in
yeah,
the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. True. And I think maybe for 1959, that was really, really suspenseful. You know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck, she's hanging from a cliff. Oh god. You know what I mean? Like, so when they did that, it was like, oh, she survived. Oh shit. Oh, clap,
But they're
clap,
not.
clap.
Yeah, and then you write like all the fucking rebels like arguing with their parents, like, yeah, you don't even get to see how she gets saved. Fuck you, mom. Like, this is real cinema.
Maybe. But I think, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of dated things, I feel like, in the Hitchcock films that but that's the question really, right? It's like what makes a goat film, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
this is what I mean. I don't think
Like,
these
we've
go
asked this a
real
bunch
yet.
of times. It's like, okay, this scene is very unrealistic. This scene is very not good for our time. It's, you'd have to dance around in circles with your mental gymnastics to make it like, oh, well, for
But,
its time it was very
but the thing is, we saw when it worked, when we saw Citizen Kane, when we saw
yeah,
like scenes from Lawrence of Arabia or Casablanca, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think that
There
maybe
was there was a couple that worked for this one too.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna say there
there
wasn't.
was a lot of shit that worked for this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, don't get
Maybe
it
it was
wrong.
just like so long that like we didn't appreciate
It wasn't really that long. It was like
that
two
long.
and
It just
two
felt
and a quarter hours long.
no, that's a
It was like
standard
a
movie,
average, a
right?
little longer than average movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was good. It was good, but it was just more like maybe there's better Hitchcock movies. Paul.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's kind of why I was a little peeved when it's like, I want to watch North by Northwest. I want to.
See, dude,
This is
North by
exactly
Northwest
what
is
I.
considered one of the better Hitchcock movies,
It is. It's not.
even
It's
sometimes above Vertigo.
no,
So
bro. Nope.
never.
Not to my no. To my
I mean,
knowledge,
by
Vertigo.
his
For some
to
reason,
my
I don't know. Look,
knowledge,
I don't know why Vertigo has the reputation it does, but apparently it does have a very high reputation
but okay.
for
I mean,
whatever
again,
reason.
I am fully down to be incorrect because I do like Hitchcock.
Oh, it's
And
not about
thing is,
correct or incorrect. It's just about what's in the
obviously, the
canon,
thing is,
and
Hitchcock
Vertigo's
wise,
in
I've
the
watched
canon.
two other Hitchcock movies, American Psycho and Birds. I think I liked American Psycho better
American
than,
Psycho,
oh, not American Psycho. Fuck, just Psycho. Oh, shit.
Psycho, and Birds. Yeah, the two
Yeah,
big
I
ones.
like Psycho probably more than North by Northwest in many ways. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
I haven't seen Psycho. I've seen Rear Window, this, and Vertigo. And of the three, Vertigo has the most step. Rear Window is probably the best,
yeah.
though. It's a
So I
pretty.
feel like maybe the Americanness, I'm not Americanness, but like the culture behind North by Northwest being like one of his final movies, being such a big production, being probably so
this
in
is
a
like
large
big
scale,
production
had to
movie.
do with its cultural fucking standing
Mm.
in. And that being said, it did kind of start the blockbuster um
Yeah,
one
no, that's my
man
interest.
action
Yeah, that's
film
my interest in
sort of
it.
thing.
I
So
watched
yeah,
this movie last year, and I did quite like it. Yeah, for context, I'm talking about it in a weird way because like, life circumstances made me not watch this movie this time around. So I'm working off of memory of a movie from a year ago, but I do remember quite liking it. I couldn't tell you exactly why, but it did make me feel really good watching it. I think it is because it does feel like a proto James Bond kind of thing.
it really does feel like a proto James Bond.
Yeah, I think that's what I was clicking with. I thought the character was
There,
fun enough
there
to
was even a
follow.
very beautiful woman involved, like every James
Beautiful
Bond movie.
woman. Just the key difference, and this is the genre thing. And I've talked, we talked a lot about this movie a little before the podcast, but the big thing about the movie is that unlike a Bond, or I think we mentioned it a few minutes ago with the superhero
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
he's not a superhero.
yeah.
Fucking
Bond
Thor.
is pretty much a superhero.
Not
Gets
No,
too
it
away.
cool.
is.
Not as
James Bond's
cool
a
as
superhero
Bond.
movie.
Like this guy, I feel like he's trying to be as cool as Bond. I
Yeah,
which is like obviously Bond came after, but like it felt like he was like trying to be
yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
even though like this was the first one.
I mean, again, there was no
Scripts and
Bond
shit.
at that time, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah, well,
this guy had
yeah.
nothing to work with. He was just
Well,
being
Ian
himself.
Fleming wrote the novels already, so
Oh,
Bond
really?
was a thing. But no, they would have mentioned if Ian Fleming's books had an influence on this, and it didn't. Again, it was just kind of let's do the craziest thriller picture we could
Mm,
do, and that's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, so proto, yeah, because James Bond's a superhero. This guy's not. He's a lot less
Average
powerful, and
guy.
that makes it more interesting. Yeah, average guy, and that's what makes it work for me.
But he's slightly not average too in many ways. Maybe but actually, as the movie went on, he kind of did develop shit like fucking throwing that match or whatever, writing that little
Right.
note, became like a fucking espion. But whatever, keep going, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're a little almost out of time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But no, so it's not really an action because even action movies like with if Liam Neeson or whatever is in them, they're usually even more powerful than this guy is. This really felt like a fucking average everyday dude gets
Yeah.
caught up in a big adventure, and there's that adventure feel with that Indiana Jones kind of has, and other adventure movies kind of do. So I like that. I mean, again, this is we'll probably get into more with other Hitchcock movies that he did sort of codify the thriller, which is the most popular form of movie I think there is. So it's just interesting watching any of his movies as like, oh, here's a template for thrillers, basically.
Mm.
But yeah, if I were to give a young screenwriter advice, I would say write a thriller. Try and kind of because they sell like they're easy to get hooked into and be intriguing on at least on a surface level, and they can be cheap to make. And what's interesting, this movie was not again, it's a big giant movie, but again, it is a thriller because
Oh,
as I
like
told you guys before, huh?
like it didn't feel like a big budget movie, though, even though there was
No,
some.
it doesn't. It doesn't. It walks a happy medium, I think. It's not James Bond, but it isn't fucking. It's clearly the biggest Hitchcock movie by a mile.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so again, it is more of a thriller. Something crazy is happening. He doesn't know why. What the fuck's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
I
movie.
mean, you could put yourself in his shoes for sure, you know.
More so than Bond, because I have watched
Yeah.
2 Bond movies and I can't get into him. Well, no, I old Bond movie because Skyfall and yeah, Skyfall's great. But
I mean, yeah.
yeah. But the older
He's
stuff
probably
like
weirdly enough my favorite Bond, whatever his name is, Pierce
Daniel
Brosnan.
Craig or
Daniel
Pierce
Craig,
Brosnan.
sorry. No, Daniel
Yeah, I
Craig.
mean he
I think he's
looks
a
like
pretty
Bond.
cool. He's a pretty
Yeah.
cool fucking Bond. He looks
Yeah.
kind of like older, which
He
is
looks like
pretty
a
cool.
robot, man. I don't know. That guy,
You don't like him?
he just looks like he has no emotions. Like all
Well,
the
I
that's
guess
the
time.
that's
point,
Bond.
but yeah, that's Bond. That is Bond, by the way.
It's one of this
He's not
cool and
supposed to.
collected, Brody.
But yeah, I think it's kind of it. One last thing I want to touch on Hitchcock is again we have 5 minutes left, but I think it does this thing where it says 5 minutes remaining, and then it cuts you down to like it's a weird countdown, fucking Zoom. Hitchcock's an auteur, and it's sort of why like you can make the argument probably that he is the best director who ever lived. Um, that's I mean, for reasons, I guess we get into another Hitchcock movie, but
Mm.
every movie you watch of his, you know it's a Hitchcock movie. And that's sort of it's not rare, but it's always something to respect, I guess. And if you're measuring what makes a director great, that's part of it, is like how distinctive are these fucking movies they're making. So he is, yeah, auteur is the word. It means just author in French. Like a novelist is an author of a book. The director is the author of the movie, and he was very big in codifying that in movies. So yeah, that's kind of it. And it's relevant because in movies, for the most part, it's the actors who have the power, not the directors. So for that switch to happen was pretty big, especially in the 70s when Francis Ford Coppola is running around doing The Godfather and
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese,
Yeah.
big Hitchcock fan, is making Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where it's like,
Yeah.
So
I guess in
big.
movies they really do give um the people before them a really huge nod. You know what I mean? Whereas in other places, other mediums, they might not give the people that came before them that huge. Maybe like art or something. They wouldn't, or they wouldn't be like, oh shit, you know,
Yeah, well,
thank you, whatever.
the whole point I think the whole point of the podcast for me is like, yeah, it is analyzing, okay, where Taxi Driver is great, but why? Let's break down the components. Okay, well, you got Hitchcock in there, you got and other filmmakers we haven't mentioned yet, but it's all these ingredients that make that movie great, which in turn makes a movie like fucking Joker really good. Because that's fucking that's fucking Taxi Driver more or less, and it's a thriller. You know, in fact, I just realized this now, and this is cool to end on. Actually, I guess this might be hard to explain, but Arthur Fleck has quite a bit in common with Thornhill to some extent. There's this feeling of powerlessness that drives Arthur Fleck, and he sort of becomes the master of the world around him, like Thornhill does in a way. You know, that's an arc you're following, I think.
Maybe.
Again, it's a little might be a grandiose note to just throw out there, but I don't know. I thought
Could
it
be
seemed pretty true.
in a way. Yeah, it makes sense.
That's it, though. We're at 2:18. It's those are our thoughts.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that was North by Northwest.
Oh,
Alfred
well,
Hitchcock.
fucking. There you go. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.
Same, you know.
Deuces.
Boom. Boom.